Comcast Sportsnet coverage of Capitals hockey tonight being brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Toyota, check out the bold new 2015 Camry and visit buyatoyota.com for offers. Lattices, all systems grow. And by your Washington area Honda dealers. We are very much looking forward to this one inside of United Center in Chicago, Illinois. It's the NHL on Comcast Sportsnet. Joe Beninati and Craig Laughlin with you inside this cavernous arena. Barry Trotz brings his Capitals to town with a mark of 4-5-3. Chicago has been beaten twice in a row in this building. Joel Quenneville's team hasn't scored a single goal in those two games. At 7-5-1 out of the Central Division, Alex Ovechkin knows he'll be seeing Jonathan Toews and friends on New Year's Day in D.C., but for now, bragging rights are on the line.
And I'm still shaking from the national anthem. It's a spectacle here at United Center.
Without a doubt. Washington in the road white. Referees are Frederick Lecuyer and Tim Field. Scott Driscoll and Andy McKelman have the lines. As this will come all the way back behind Braden Holtby. It's whistled down for an early icing, just 18 seconds into the contest.
It's going to be important for the boys in white to get off the schneid by a real good first period. They've got to pressure the Blackhawks, especially down in the corners. Pinching D are going to be very important like Carlson. They've got to win the face-off battle against some very good face-off man for the Hawks.
Top of the screen, going through the Capitals line combinations and deep pairings. You will not see Eric Fehr nor Yevgeny Kuznetsov. Those are healthy scratches, as well as Jack Gillen on the blue line. The defensive six stay the same, and the couplets, the pairs, go back together for head coach Trotz.
Yeah, he's moved them around. He's moved Carlson up and down. He's moved Greeny up and down, back to the norm for this big game here in Chicago.
Ovechkin off of the win of the faceoff, buzzed one by the ear of Corey Crawford.
Nicely done. 2 wins already in the offensive zone. Watch that as a trend in this game. If they continue with that type of efficiency, we could see some goals off draws here tonight.
We just finished the lineups at the top of the screen for Chicago. Very stout defensively, especially in this barn. John Carlson on the headman, looking for the former Blackhawk, Troy Brouwer. Deflected from him by Seabrook, and back through center she comes. Carl Alsner trickles the puck ahead. Marcus Johansson towards the goal. Cuffed down by Crawford. He had to make a save there after he botched the first shot. A better save on the rebound than the initial drive. Burakovsky. Swedish center, 19-year-old in the lineup. Stuff attempt here. Crawford down with a paddle of the goalie stick. And Chris Versteeg in his second tour of duty with the Hawks will start the counter.
Sort of an off year for Versteeg. Last year was hurt and didn't really have the legs. This year came into camp in great shape. Missed the first 4 or 5 games because he got injured at the end of camp, but arguably one of their better forwards of late. So people have been raving about him. He's a guy to watch here tonight. He's got to keep their hands on him.
The Hjalmarsson pass for Oduya, spoiled by Chimera, and back at center. Revolving ahead, Nate Schmidt on the dump down.
Yeah, good strong dump, too. They're going to try to stack it up the blue line. They're so good defensively as 5-man units, just like Trotz wants to do. So those harder rounds are going to be important. Got to keep it away from Crawford, just like that last rim around the boards for the Caps.
Long shot from Oduya, blocked and hit Andrew Shaw, who's setting a screen in front. And Joel Ward will tumble through center, where Chimera will drive it in. Both teams in the midst of a line change. Just past the 2-minute mark in this scoreless first. The 27-year-old Swede Hjalmarsson plays it on for Brad Richards. Richards working wide. A couple of goals in his last 3 outings. Skates it all the way to point position. Still keeps it. Then down low for Peter Regan, an American Hockey League call-up with the injury to sharpshooter Patrick Sharp, keeping him on the shelf for the next month or so.
Man, that's going to hurt them a little bit, especially up front. They're going to have to do it as a unit, and other guys are going to have to step up, like a Richards, to take the spot of Sharp, who provides a lot of balance to their offense.
Latta did not keep that in. It's offside against Washington. Then he got into a shoving match with Jeremy Morin, as Locker details the netminder.
Well, the visitors in white, they go to Braden Holtby, trying to get a big win here at United Center. Holt's numbers on the season, 500 at 3-3-2, an .891 save percentage. That would like to go up here in this game. And Corey Crawford, hot Joe, very good numbers, and his win-loss don't really show how good he's been playing at 4-2-1.
Crawford, who will turn 30 on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, got a shutout in his hometown, Montreal. Their last game, 5-0 over the Habs.
Ben Smith working on the top line with Taves and Kane. Those two superstars united on Joel Quenneville's best offensive trio. Kane sends it to the point. Oduya winds and fires a laser that goes wide. Brooks Orpik will play it on out. Backstrom will clear in, and Crawford will hold it up, sweeping the puck for Jalmerson. 3.5 minutes into this first period. Kane swiftly through center, but Green was right there with it.
And a good back check to boot. You've got to keep your eyes on Kane. He's sort of been up and down this season. Not been real hot. Hopefully he stays asleep and doesn't get a lot here tonight.
Beautiful passing play there from Keith to Hossa and then Shaw. He did not convert on the business end. There's a bad pass from Keith that's deflected back onto the Chicago side of center. Schmidt on the run had a delay as he had a player trapped offside. Burakovsky feeds the slot, but poke check from Keith. Starts Hossa the other way, 2-on-2. Marian Hossa fires. That's rejected by Schmidt. Seabrook walks in and drives right to the chest of Holtby. He trickles it into his glove. Patrick Sharp, said by many to be the top forward in the first month of the season for the Hawks. He falls injured to Montreal.
Takes a hit by Alexei Emelin in the corner there, and then he falls sort of on that leg to boot. Couldn't get up, had to be helped up by the training staff. They're saying at least 4 weeks for that lower body injury, the right leg for Joel Quenneville's team.
You would imagine that would have an impact on the Blackhawk power play, as Sharp is one of their best at converting on the man advantage.
Yeah, he's very good at controlling the puck. He's their QB at the point a lot of the times, but they're fortunate to have a guy like Richards who really hasn't played up to par so far, but he's going to get extra time on that power play and take the spot over for him. And Sharp's numbers will have to be reflected in Richards helping out their power play.
16 red, Marcus Kruger has been the best face-off man in the NHL the last 2 weeks. He was excused from the dot. Hawks win it anyway. Oduya towards the goal, a routine stick save for Braden Holtby. Even in full strength. Haven't had a power play just yet. We are not 5 minutes old in the Windy City. Versteeg gets behind the D, closing to his backhand, deflected away. Alsner with a good recovery. Well, look at the big brain unlocker. Here's Craig's Voice on Values, presented by Morgan Franklin Consulting.
Well, for the boys in white, Greeny and company, you've got to have early energy here at a building like this. I tell you, the national anthem in its own right, if you're a hockey player sitting down there, it amps you up. I've been in the old Chicago Stadium. They had the same type of energy with the national anthem. Early energy imperative for O'Brien and the boys to get through the first 10 minutes here at United Center.
Liam will provide energy.
Oh, yeah.
Always
I don't know
does.
if he has a dance partner, though. They don't take a lot of penalties. They don't have a lot of big bruising guys in their lineup.
Chicago hasn't had a fight all year.
There you go.
Long wrister from Trevor Van Riemsdyk.
TVR.
TVR, brother of JVR, north of the border in Toronto.
You look at the Blackhawks bench getting ready for a shift against the Caps. A lot of big-name guys on that bench. When you look at Hossa, sort of goes unheralded here when you've got Kane and Taves in their lineup.
Marian Hossa, 1,000 points strong now.
Yeah, one of 80 players all-time in NHL history to reach that milestone.
Latta gloves it to Carlson. That's allowed in the defensive zone as the Hawks will need to retreat here. Shots on goal unofficially 3-all in the first 5 minutes of the contest. Richards swipes the puck, fires, and that's an easy glove stop for Braden Holtby. 2 men behind their respective benches who are used to winning.
Nice numbers. Big Joel, winningest coach among active guys, over 700. Hitchcock, Lindy Ruff. And there's the Caps bench boss. Not too far off at 561. Ahead of Daryl Sutter, who resides with the Kings.
Joel Quenneville, a former Washington Capital, in his own right during his playing days.
Over 800 games in the National Hockey League. Washington, one of his stops, a very, I would call him a steady Eddie defenseman. You know, he wasn't flashy, but if you had defense on your mind, you could put Quenneville out at any situation in a game.
Play was brought to a halt there as Alex Ovechkin hit the puck with a high stick. Joel Quenneville, fabulous numbers. The winning percentage is dynamite. Jonathan Taves is out there along with Ben Smith and Patrick Kane As this dribbles to the doorstep, hope he won't take any chances with it.
He said to me this morning, man, you've been around for a long time. He said, I remember doing one of your games. Holtz, take a look at his career total so far. 114 games, 63 of them wins.
Shutout number 12 for Braden came this season in Boston at TD Garden. Just 4 other games going on around the NHL tonight, including Washington's opponent tomorrow. Columbus is in Raleigh to play the Canes. The Canes will be at Verizon Center for a late one tomorrow night.
And supposedly the Canes getting Tuloski back after being out with an injury, and supposedly Semin could play. So up front, maybe they have a little more offense. The Caps are always going to have to be ready when Carolina comes to town.
That's tomorrow. This evening, it's Chicago with Smith whirling at the line, greeted there by Orpik. Taves and Backstrom go to the boards, a pair of 19s. Smith roughhousing with Orpik, who got a little frisky with Jonathan Taves last year, right?
Yeah, big hit in Pittsburgh against Taves. Knocked him on his keister as he was winding up in the corner, Joe B. No penalty was called on the play. A lot of people said, hey, there should have been a penalty and a suspension.
A bad clear there. Saad going to the net, erased by Orpik.
Not sure why he made that pass. He should have pounded him.
Had a lot of room, didn't he?
Yeah.
As Wilson clears in, Chimera flies after Seabrook. On a one-handed shovel for Keith, he'll keep it moving, but didn't get it out of the zone. Versteeg matched up with Brooks Laich, who's returned to the lineup. Laich down low, Chimera on a scuff attempt. Crawford makes the pad save. Brooks Laich was telling us earlier in the day things started to turn for him on Wednesday. Felt strong in practice, no fatigue when he was shooting the puck. That cleared him for the contact engagement as Hope makes a stop there and turns the rebound to the side.
Well, he must be pretty fit because he was decked in his first shift. He stayed down for a few seconds but got up and skated to the bench. That's a good sign that he's feeling well.
Bickle for the Hawks finds Hjalmarsson. Long drive that was blunted by Joel Ward.
Right in the shooting lane, exactly what the textbook says and exactly what Trotz wants from his forwards coming out to block shots.
Ward had to drop his stick. It was broken. Excellent defensive play by Niskanen, caroming that one off of the ring. 7 minutes, 17 seconds gone by. Caps and Hawks, no score on Comcast Sportsnet. Hockey fans just settling in for a Friday night inside of United Center. No score, Washington and Chicago. Locker, Star Trek, presented by Toyota. Captains of point-scoring industry.
Yeah, captain, my captain. For Alex Ovechkin, the grade 8, 827 points in the record book. Last game against the Calgary Flames to move above Bondra. One away from 400. Jonathan Taves, third youngest captain in the National Hockey League. Landeskog and Crosby younger when they were named. 200 goals, 250 assists, and a lot of hardware here with the Hawks.
Oh, yeah. Stanley Cup champion Blackhawks in 2010 and 2013.
And a Conn Smythe to go along with one of those.
He has one. Kane has one of those. Washington has control of the puck.
And Washington wants one of those.
Oh, very, very much so. Seabrook leaking away from the forecheck of Johansson. Keith with energy to burn. He lost possession there. Brouwer will steer it in deep. Delayed offside against Washington. Now waved. 29-year-old Brent Seabrook on the outlet. Shaw gets the attacking line. Saad to the goal mouth of Holtby with a pad save. Hossa was dangerous.
Chicago Blackhawks like to enter the zone under control. So far, 6 carries and just 1 dump-in of the puck. And here's why. They attack with speed. They drive aggressively in a center lane drive. And there you see Hossa on the doorstep. Pretty good passing play. Not a lot of mustard on that backhand. Looking for a pass more than anything was Saad trying to find his man in front of the net.
Saad finds himself 4th on the point-scoring list so far this season for Chicago. His lone tally authored against Philadelphia. Blackhawks in their D territory. Smith with Carlson converging on him. John Carlson leaves it for Nick Backstrom. Puts the puck topside. Long drive from Ovechkin that's way wide, and Kane will stride through center. Patrick Kane flushed out by Ovechkin. Nearing the midway mark of a scoreless opening period. Whoa! Orpik up high again against Taves. Carlson chisels it along. Backstrom reversing the flow, but into traffic. Point position. Long slapper stopped. And Holtby finds the rebound at his knees. A bullet from Nicholas Hjalmarsson.
Holtby has been solid here in the first period. You need textbook goaltending against the Hawks. There's been no loose change coming off the body. Another long-range shot. Of their 8 shots, I think 3 or 4 of them have come right from their blue line core. And that's a good snare. No rebound whatsoever so far for Holtz' game. That's a real good thing as you look at the scoring chances. 5-3 Chicago.
Braden Holtby, 25-year-old native of Saskatchewan, getting the start tonight against Corey Crawford. Snapshot sent his way wide of the goal. Morin, Regan, and Richards on ice now for Coach Quenneville. Burakovsky plays it to neutral ice for the backpedaling Seabrook. Duncan Keith, twice a Norris Trophy winner. On a long send away, out of the grasp of Richards, icing is washed out. They continue to play at full and even strength. Another battle along the boards. Kicked loose, Burakovsky. Born in Austria, raised a Swede. Drops it behind the cage where Chimera will put some heat on Seabrook. Schmidt keeps it in. Chimera lurking below the goal line. Knocked off the biscuit by Regan, who for a long time was Ottawa Senator property. Schmidt racing to keep. This one's deflected over the Hawks bench. Folks, on Twitter tonight, hashtag Capitals Talk. What's been the most intriguing storyline around the NHL? Intriguing storyline around the NHL this season so far. Hashtag Capitals Talk. Bunch of things you could consider for that.
A lot of players having really good years. So you can look at players right off the get-go. Guys like Voracek in Philadelphia having a career year. Guys like that. And then you've got to look at the guys maybe that have disappointed this year. The way Carolina started out, not very good, but they seem to have righted the ship. A lot of good storylines.
Weigh in, hashtag Capitals Talk. Trevor Van Riemsdyk's bid was blocked. Versteeg with good stick handling off the wall. Towards the cage. Bickle was there. Mike Green taking the puck to safety and bouncing it back to center.
Well, both these coaches have mentioned the word greasy before in their press conferences, and that's exactly what this game's turned into. It's going to be a greasy type game, and they're looking for greasy goals, just like Versteeg, throwing the puck to the front of the net, hoping that it goes off a leg, a body. Those are the type of goals that can often win hockey games, and both these teams, it looks like they're going to have to do that tonight.
Aaron Volpatti, John Erskine, Dmitry Orlov on the injured list for Washington. Patrick Sharp and Dan Carcillo there for these Hawks, who've scratched Michael Roosevelt healthy tonight. Offside against Chicago, a chance for us to get to commercial break. Nothing cooking on the scoreboard. Still zip in Chicago. Thompson Creek window of opportunity. Let's have a peek at what these teams will be wearing on January 1st.
Yeah, the Chicago Blackhawks came out with their jersey for the Winter Classic, 1957 style, Joe, the same year I was born. Pretty cool looking white jersey, and the Caps, of course, unbelievable, great looking jersey, getting ready for the Winter Classic in Washington.
Those will match up nicely on New Year's Day 2015. All it took was taking that secondary logo for the Hawks and putting it at the elbow, and everybody's like, ooh, that's great, gotta have one. It is a beautiful looking sweater. It is year after year. Seabrook, his pass behind Saad, and this is icing against Chicago.
Good hustle there, trying to get that long-range pass from Seabrook. Sort of goes underrated here in Chicago. Been such a force, especially playing with Duncan Keith over the years. Those two guys have been inseparable between the coach. They played together a ton, logged the most ice time among everyone here on the blue line.
Greg, as a defense pair, as a tandem, I'm hard-pressed to pick a better one than those two.
I would have to agree with you.
It's hard to pick a tandem that's better. To the front, like turns, and a stick save for Crawford.
That was a big one right there because absolutely no one on number 21, Brooks Laich in front, didn't elevate it, and big fella Crawford makes a nice save with his right toe.
Seabrook swooping in from point position, back to Hossa, and Hossa will reverse his field back to neutral zone. On the headman for Saad, Niskanen stride for stride with him. Brandon Saad, 22-year-old Pittsburgh native. Drive, pumped right on by Hossa, kicked out of there by Holtby. Hjalmarsson down low for Shaw. Second line center duties for Andrew, and he's warming to them nicely.
He's a feisty sort of, you know. He's sort of like Marchand in Boston. They play that same agitator style. He scored some big goals here in the playoffs, and he's sort of a fan favorite, but he gets under your nails big time.
I wonder if that's why he has about 8 stitches across the bridge of his nose. Offside against Chicago a few moments ago. Brooks Laich on the doorstep.
Probably the best chance for the Caps so far here in the first. Long-range shot, skitters through, and there's Brooks on a spinorama trying to get it free. There's Brouwer finishing off on Seabrook of Brouwer's Stanley Cup team. He's one of the guys that's a leftover. There's 10 guys that remain from the year Brouwer won, I think 2010, on this Hawks Stanley Cup team still playing here in Chicago.
Troy was sharing a lot of handshakes throughout the day with personnel here inside of United Center. And a long lead for Chimera. He'll have to drive wide to get it. Chimera's pass turned away by Hjalmarsson. Kruger using the boards, and back comes Chicago through neutral ice with Bickell. Bickell handled well there defensively. John Carlson doing the honors. Bickell powers out of the corner. Oduya, the one-timer pad save for Holtby. Kruger was tied up. No penalty call from either referee, Leclerc or Peel, keeping the boys 5-on-5 with 7:20 to go in the opening period.
Capitals have been great in the first period in their own zone, Joe. A lot of tie-ups, making sure they take away the Hawks' sticks. When they do get a chance in front, the stick comes up immediately, taking bodies and sticks, playing everything to the outside. So far, so good in front of Holtby.
That's Craig Laughlin. I'm Joe Beninati. This is the NHL on Comcast Sportsnet. Taves to the front, looking for the tip-in try, and it rolls right on through the crease. The first of 2 meetings between Washington and Chicago this year. This one at United Center. The next one, the Winter Classic at Nats Park. No scoring in the game. Shots on goal to this point unofficially 11-8 for Chicago.
Good transition by the Chicago Blackhawks, and Jonathan Toews is in the middle of everything. Here he is skipping around the D, and it's a centering pass. And notice where they're going, Joe. They're just going to the paint. They're just trying to hack. They're trying to whack. They're doing anything to get some goals. They've been starved of goals, and this is a team that could get frustrated because of that, because the last couple of seasons, probably the most potent offensive attack in the National Hockey League. You know, and they haven't been scoring, especially here on home ice.
Overall, Chicago has dropped 5 of its last 8. Richards didn't come up with that one. Latta looking to scoop it out. Morin closing, fires, and Holtby has it with a glove and blocker.
Holtby's really holding on. Morin got that shot away, and again, very square and up for Holtby. Look at Holtby. Look at how challenging he is. Above the paint and right into the body. No holes when you watch that from behind him. Here's another good look. Here he is, Holtby stepping out, taking away the angle, and there it is. There's no holes. Notice his arms are real tight there. There was no room whatsoever for a squirt through against Braden Holtby.
Goalie coach Mitch Korn on the trip with the Caps to Chicago will be very pleased with that technique. A dozen stops already for Braden.
Get used to it, right? Shots.
Especially tonight, this Chicago team averages almost 38 per game, number 1 in the NHL. Saad scoots out of the corner, finds Duncan Keith, winds and drives, and a kick-out save for Holtby. He got that with a toe of the skate.
That was a great save, but I like to clear out in front just as much. He had Nate Schmidt just pounding their centerman in front of the net, Joe. Just a great kabong in front against Shaw, who was hanging out looking for a deflection.
Brooks Laich lost possession there to Seabrook. Duncan Keith straight up the gut. Shaw was rattled by Schmidt.
Second time this shift against Shaw and Schmidt.
Duncan Keith plays it to the boards. Be careful with those new 2 names together. Be very, very careful.
You got it.
With those 2 names together. Green waltzing back through center. He'll tumble it into the Chicago zone. Burakovsky matched up with Hjalmarsson. Oduya, a former Washington Capital draft pick. This is Toews sprinting through center. Tried to get to the interior. Niskanen and Alsner would not allow it. Matt Niskanen's a Minnesota native, putting it out there for Burakovsky and deflecting off of his tape. Van Riemsdyk regrouping with Rundblad. getting high praise earlier today from Joel Quenneville. Trevor Van Riemsdyk over skates. Ward sends it on for Chimera. Van Riemsdyk there to cover up for the Hawks and reverse to Rundblad. Another guy with Ottawa Senators ties. Rundblad streaking back through center ice. Chips it around Niskanen. All the way, and he took a shoulder from Ovechkin. 4:40 separating us from Lattice's intermission line. Oduya in no hurry. Johnny Oduya puts it ahead for Bickle. Versteeg was there to support. So too is Kruger. And the Caps will short circuit that. Ovechkin sends it out wide for John Carlson to dump in.
And this is the type of game you'd expect about both teams really wanting a win and to get something positive going. Tight checking, hard work, and everything we expected here tonight.
Ovechkin corralled by Hjalmarsson. Versteeg will go the other way. Flopping this one back behind Holtby's crease. Carlson gave it a nudge past Wilson and all the way to the Hawk blue line. 13-8 are the shots on goal. Hjalmarsson looking for Bickle. That misfires. Liam O'Brien with a wrister that's over the head of Corey Crawford. O'Brien puts a thump into Hjalmarsson. He spins it on for Duncan Keith. Active skates, always fast feet. Finds Richards. Down the flank, Morin. Morin's wrister, a pad save for Holtby.
And perfect positioning by Deagle, who came up and back-checked up the middle and easily takes that rebound that was in front of the net and puts it out of harm's way.
In the recent Calgary game, Eagle and Latta and O'Brien were given a big thumbs up from the coaching staff for their efforts.
And I was raving about them all game long. They just bring a good dimension, a good energy type game. When they do get out there, even if it's limited, 10 to 12 minutes, they play an important piece of the puzzle here, especially on the road. You need that energy. You need those type of physical players in your lineup.
5-on-5, we drift below 3 minutes to go in the opening period. Marian Hossa creating an odd man rush with Saad. Hossa for Saad, he scores!
Coach Quenneville says about Marian Hossa, he represents how we want to play. Saad gets the goal, but it's all Marian Hossa, Joe. The way he battled Niskanen. Watch Niskanen try to battle Hossa. He keeps his feet moving. The puck now comes free. It's 2-on-1, right side, left side. And man, was Holtby close to getting that one. Saad got a lot of that, but not all of that. You could see his wheelhouse there. Skips off the left pad and beats Holtby down low, but it's all Hossa leading to the Saad goal.
Hossa on the primary assist. Saad, who turned 22 about 10 days ago, gets his second on the season, first of the night for Chicago in a 1-0 lead. Brandon Saad bumped into there by Joel Ward as the Hawks will get organized at center. Oduya ahead for Hossa. That misfires. 2:20 left to go in the opening period. Washington falling behind. A very stingy Chicago squad in this barn. Hossa, bad pass there. Swipes it from Burakovsky. Chimera has the puck for Washington, and he'll launch through center. Barry Trotz quick to change lines as Seabrook spins on for Keith. Ran into Tom Wilson while offering to Patrick Kane. Kane keeps it moving down the dasher for Taves, arm in arm with Green. Jonathan Taves looking to Kane and then Smith. Former Boston College Eagle. Then Smith pressed to the boards. Good defensive work there. Nate Schmidt doing the honors. 90 seconds with which to work in period one. Bad pass. Backstrom could not enter the zone. Ovechkin would have been offside. John Carlson connecting the dots with Backstrom. Then Wilson to the front. A pass that never arrived.
Yeah, he's got to think of himself as more of a shooter there. Willie had a chance even to take a sharp angle shot. Instead, looking for his line mates. He obviously looked for star players, but that's one Willie has to pull the trigger on, Joe. He's on the wing. It's late in the period. The ice is poor. You got to rip that. He's got a heck of a good shot.
Final minute of the first stanza. Beagle with good skating legs down the wing. Jay Beagle fires that one, tapped off the rink by Oduya. One last commercial break for us on Comcast Sportsnet. Chicago gets to the lead. Brandon Saad bangs one home to give the locals the advantage. Chicago has a 1-0 lead in their own barn. The assist leaders are presented by your local Hyundai dealers. Let them assist you in scoring the lowest prices on the hottest lineup in America. Big names in Blackhawk history.
And the great number 21, Stan Mikita, 107 better than he's everywhere. What's his name?
Savoir-faire.
He's everywhere. Doug Wilson, the great defenseman, Bobby Hall, and Steve Larmer, who I remember just quietly racking up points and always chewing a big wad of gum.
Oh, yeah.
That was Steve Larmer. Great players here in Chicago.
Savoir-faire is everywhere.
Yes. Could he ever spin a rama? Oh, he made that famous, that move.
Not a bad stick handler in his own right.
No.
Taves and Wilson to draw. Locker, what have you thought about Tom Wilson on this top line?
I like him. I really think he's going to get better there. I think that's where he has to play. He's getting extra ice time. He's getting in there. The only thing I want him to do is a little bit selfish, a little bit, like the play he had here in the first. He's got to fire that puck. He's got a good set of mitts for a big fella.
He does. Nicholas Backstrom says his skills are very much underrated. Wilson joining the play here with Backstrom at the attacking line. Tom Wilson crunched by Oduya. 20 seconds in the period.
That's going to be a penalty against OV.
Hjalmarsson got hit up high. Well, wait a minute. Braden Holtby's at the bench. He didn't get the memo, and the gloves and the fists are flying.
But I thought the first hit was good. The second hit, I thought they had OV on their defenseman. Hjalmarsson. Watch the hit down low. I think it happens just to the right. We'll see who they dole out a penalty here. I think the official got confused, Joe, about who he was giving a penalty to.
Well, I know Braden Holtby was on the Washington bench.
And we were both confused, but I knew right away it was OV. The captain's heading off on a heavy hit in the corner. Watch the first hit right here on Wilson. Now you'll see the captain, OV, come in number 4 right there, Joe. And the back official called the penalty against the Caps captain right there.
So with just 15.2 to go in this opening period, Alex Ovechkin wiping his windshield there after connecting with Hjalmarsson, giving the Hawks the late first period power play. Just 18.9% effective. Chicago this season, that ranks in the middle of the pack in the NHL. Washington's penalty killers, a shade over 79%.
And watch Taves. He's the guy that makes you go because he's the guy that usually wins faceoffs. He's been on the power play as a faceoff guy more than anybody in the NHL for the Hawks. He just racks up a lot of faceoffs.
Like that. Duncan Keith switching up. Drive Sizzler over the blocker of Holtby from Richards. He's waiting at point position, down to 2 seconds left. Has to crank it up again as the siren sounds, ending period number 1.
Decent road period. Not the only guy to beat Braden Holtby. I thought Braden Holtby held him in early. He made some 10-bell saves. Saad gets a nice pass from Marian Hossa. And he's getting taps as he gets to the bench as Braden Holtby. Real solid road game. The Capitals have to somehow generate more offense against their netminder the rest of the way.
The Ovechkin hit to the head penalty will carry over 1:45 into period number 2. Between now and then, Lattice Intermission Live. Coming up, a look at the Caps' new coach, highlights and stats from this one, and Craig Laughlin at the telestrator. Chicago and Washington, 1 of 5 on the NHL circuit. From the opening draw, we expected the bodies to fly. The crunching's going on. Chicago has the lead. We continue Lattice's Intermission Live in a moment. Just about set to start period number 2 with you. The NHL on Comcast Sportsnet. Tip of the cap to all of the men and women in our technical crew. The 2015 Bridgestone NHL Winter Classic going to be played January 1. And Nats Park. For more information on how to guarantee access to tickets to the game, call 202-266-CAPS, or you can visit WashingtonCaps.com.
I'm going to try to keep my tooth.
Look at those chuckleheads.
It's getting cold at home. I need that tooth.
Very well.
I'm going to say I have lice or something, so I can't give it back. They're going to try to take it. I said, okay, here it is.
So that's been the problem for so long. Head lice. Now I understand the troubles. As we begin this second period, Chicago has a power play for 90 seconds. It's a spillover on an Alex Ovechkin minor, 2 minutes for a hit to the head of Nicholas Hjalmarsson. Nice cutoff by Holtby. He snaps it around the glass and out.
And he was working with that with the goalie coach this morning, getting the puck up high. Did it about 10 reps to make sure he was ready, and man, it pays off. Repetition works out nicely for Braden Holtby.
You read my mind, but that was at the other end of the rink this morning where there's a nasty seam in the boards. Braden was worried about his stick getting stuck tonight. Not at that end. Keith drops for Kane. Keep it on the outside. Taves waits. Richards fires. That's blocked. Follow up. Keith. He scores. Duncan Keith.
Fans are going crazy. All 21,000 plus here at United Center. They have struck on the power play. And the second periods for the Hawks coming into this game, they had all of 4 goals, the fewest in the National Hockey League. Well, the Ovechkin carryover, and Keith pounds it. It's a rebound, and he just steps in. Innocent Richard shot will get the primary assist, and there is Duncan Keith. And you mentioned a 2-time Norris Trophy winner, big numbers as an offensive-style defenseman. He's got his 3rd goal of the season. Breaks an 11-game drought.
He had 55 assists last year, which led all NHL defenders. Duncan Keith, 56 seconds into period 2 on the power play, and the Hawks have a 2-goal lead inside of an arena in which they have a goals against average so far this season of 1.14. I insist that's a typo. Ovechkin drops it off. Versteeg was there to paddle back, looking for Bickle. As he rumbles down the wing, Karl Alzner will take care of him. Matt Niskanen for Washington in a 2-goal hole now. Backstrom feeds it rink wide. Alzner stretched out by Shaw. Wilson's not going to get through Hjalmarsson. Ovechkin from the sharp angle, cleaned up by Keith. Green to Schmidt. Fires. Deflection and a stop there for Crawford right in the breadbasket.
Yeah, that's a real good play. The Caps' response. Good shot by Schmidt. Getting that puck to the net. Yet big Wilson in front. Crawford, a big goaltender, Joe. He takes up a lot of that white net behind him, and he just gets enough of this before it skitters. That 5-hole was open for a fraction of a second. Another good look here in Comcast Sportsnet. Here's the shot, and that's a set play. They're looking for deflections in front. Willie just didn't get it up and ramp it up and over Crawford.
Tom says he needs to bring energy. He needs to forecheck his tail off when he's playing with Alex and Nick. We've seen that line create very well since being assembled by Barry Trotz. Saad is carried to the end boards by Mike Green. We're back to 5-on-5. Early second period power play goal from Duncan Keith. Seabrook waltzing in. Backhand chance loose. At the doorstep, Saad was rejected. Holtby staying strong in the paint. Brent Seabrook a long way from the cooker. Knocked down by Schmidt. Brouwer didn't get it out. Burakovsky will try, and the second effort delivers back onto the Hawks side of the table. Seabrook, just shy of his 30th birthday, will clear on down. Brooks Orpik rolls it on ahead out of the reach of Latta, and this should be an icing call against Washington.
Washington getting it out of their zone before they establish another setup. Seabrook and Keith dominant. Keith with nice assist there, but it was all the Richard shot, Joe, on the power play. The importance of just getting pucks to the net that struck against his club here in the first, Barry Trotz.
Duncan Keith from Taves and Richards. 56 seconds into the middle frame. Liam O'Brien out there along with Latta and Beagle. Latta towards the goal, and a kneeling Crawford has that. Tonight's Cold Hard Fact is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Troy Brouwer back in the Windy City.
Yeah, Troy Brouwer was acquired June 24, 2011 from Chicago for the Caps' first rounder. That was a 26th overall pick. He's recorded 117 points in just over 223 games. Chicago drafted Philip Danault has yet to play in the National Hockey League. Danault, not Danault. Danault.
little bit past the 3-minute mark in the second. Richards wins this draw for Chicago. Blackhawks will entertain San Jose here on Sunday. There's a penalty call coming up. Referees tonight, Frederick Lecuyer and Tim Peel. And that's Lecuyer with a hook.
Yep, power play goes back to work. 21. It's going to be Brooks Laich heading off. 2 minutes for the hook in the neutral zone. There you see the signal. Big kill here. Hawks with lots of momentum here after that early strike by Duncan Keith.
Barry Trotz's team has allowed a power play goal in 7 of its last 9, including tonight. Must find a way to resist Chicago's advances. These power play stats packaged by the UPS store.
Yeah, the Caps coming into this game just at about 75% away from home on this unit. It's got to be above 80 to be successful.
Kane hits the seam. Keith fires. That's blocked. Joel Ward chasing after Keith. Long drive. Richards. Pad save. Holtby. Shaw, Kane, and Taves across the top. Keith and Richards in back for head coach Joel Quenneville. Richards will spin it rink wide. Ward is there. He'll golf ahead. Chimera on the fly, and he'll go against Richards. Lets it go off the shoulder and maybe the headgear of Crawford out of play.
Yeah, he got his head up there and just elected to take that shot. And make a good point, Joe B. Richards playing on the power play was the lone man back. And the speed of Chimera created that chance. Good job by the hack by Ward there. And here comes Chimera, and he just rifles it. Sharp angle, trying to go over that right shoulder. Caught the goaltender, maybe his mask and right shoulder. Face-off stays inside.
Crawford with a shake of the head. He's ready for the next volley to come his way. 29-year-old Montreal, Quebec native. Rundblad will work back out. He hails from Sweden. As this is off of the rink and out of play for the whistle. A stop and start beginning to this second period. Hawks with 1 in the first from Brandon Saad. 1 in the second, if you're just jumping back on board with us, from Duncan Keith. Healthy scratches for Washington tonight. Yevgeny Kuznetsov, Jack Hillen, and Eric Fair are also out. The scoring chances heavily in favor of Chicago. Rundblad working through center, halfway through the minor. Penalty to Laich for hooking. This is Brouwer stepping to the middle. Didn't pull the trigger. Seabrook close ranks. Joel Quenneville said of Troy Brouwer when he was with the Hawks, big part of the team, a great pro who brought versatility to the lineup. Centering pass looking for Versteeg. Skated away by Chimera. He and Ward 2-on-2. Chimera to the front, ran out of real estate. Finds Ward there at the doorstep. He kicked it wide. Washington shorthanded another 24 ticks. Shaw leaves to Kane.
3 different changes now in the PK. That pair have been very good, Chimera and Joel Ward.
Patrick Kane will switch it up. Duncan Keith fires. It's wide as Holtby was heavily screened. Backstrom the other way for Washington to a trailing John Carlson. A long drive, no worries for Corey Crawford. Caps back to full strength right now. Laich out of the penalty box and right into the fray. Duncan Keith hooks it on back. Patrick Kane's an electrifying stick handler. Good poke check by Backstrom. Hjalmarsson keeps it moving. Kane on the delay. Crisscrossing with Taves. Jonathan Taves not going very far except into your living room there.
Yeah, misread there with Taves and Kane working together. Kane thought the puck should have went in, and Taves threw it back. That allowed the Capitals to exit.
Kane revolves into his backhand, sticked away by Braden Holtby. Alex Ovechkin's been quiet so far tonight. Launched it ahead too far. This will come all the way down. It's icing against the Caps. Folks, we have some McDonald's trivia for you, and it involves one of the game's greatest. Which 5 teams, you have to name 5, did Scotty Bowman serve as head coach? 5 teams under the direction of the great Scotty Bowman.
And we bring that up because Stan Bowman is the general manager and VP here in Chicago. Scotty's son doing a great job here with the Hawks.
Brent Seabrook backpedaling, sends the wrister to the blocker pad of Braden Holtby. Carlson moves it along for Ovechkin. He was canceled out quickly by Kruger. Keith lets it go wide of the goal. Smith was setting the screen. The ricochet is out of play. 6 minutes and 9 seconds into period 2. Number 2 for Chicago puts the second goal on the board. The Blackhawks here at home, 2 better than the Caps on CSN. Our Sport Fans of the Game are brought to you by Sport Automotive Chevrolet and Honda. Be a Sport Fan too. Visit sportautomotive.com. Capitals fans in our midst here at United Center in Chicago. We look forward to seeing all the Caps fans tomorrow at Verizon Center as Washington will entertain Carolina, fellow Metropolitan Division rivals. The Hawks reside in the Central Division. Washington playing its 7th game against the West already. This is the first against anybody from the Central. 2-0 Chicago in the driver's seat. Brandon Saad and Duncan Keith on the board. Morin grappling with Schmidt. Skip a man, Rundblad tumbles that one right to the glove of Braden Holtby.
No traffic in front whatsoever. A good rotation. Rundblad got pretty good mustard on that one right into the catching glove of Braden Holtby. Probably a lot of youngsters watching the game tonight at home, Joe B. Well, tomorrow it's Try Hockey for Free Day with several rink partners in Washington, D.C., Virginia, having free hockey time for kids that want to give it a whirl. Check out their website, Try Hockey for Free, if you want to have a chance tomorrow to participate.
Get out there and lace them up.
Why not? It's the greatest sport in the world.
Here. Hjalmarsson, long wrister, wide of the goal. The Hawks are making a concerted effort to screen Holtby every chance. Oduya back for Kane. Down low to Smith. It ramped over his hockey stick. See Orpik put the crunch on. Brooks Orpik out there trying to make a play in a small space. We approach the 8-minute mark of the second period. First of 2 meetings between these two. The next one, New Year's Day, the Winter Classic at Nats Park. Kane jams on the brakes. If you missed it at the outset, the team's warmed up in their winter toques. Kane took his eyes off of that. 2 chuckleheads here in the booth had theirs on as well.
You and who?
Oh, you weren't here? Oh, that's right.
I don't remember that.
That's right. I didn't miss you.
Warmed up my brain for the show tonight.
Sharp. You're very sharp. You're all over it.
Yes, I am.
Hjalmarsson on the outlet.
Took power.
Oh, Taves. Down the wing, odd man rush. Taves fires, pad save, Holtby.
That was a big save. That was actually a 3-on-1. Real good defensive play by Niskanen coming over and forcing Taves just to shoot the pill. He didn't have really other options, but he did have 2 other guys with him. Fancy left toe save by Holtby.
Saad, nice look to Shaw. A bad pass there. Brouwer with the intercept. The speed of Duncan Keith, though, gets him into the skating lane so quickly. Niskanen closing with Burakovsky. No angle, but the Caps are going to their first power play right now.
And it's going to be Hossa on the back check. You know, you talk about Hossa being so good both sides of the puck. Well, there he gets nabbed, and here come the Caps. This is energy time. This is power play time that they have got to finish on to take out the fans here in the Hawks. All starts in transition, and there's Hossa from behind. He should have just left him to Seabrook, but the stick into the glove sent Hossa to the box.
Caps were really good, Locker, last year against the Blackhawks on the power play. They were 4 for 9. The 2 teams split the 2 games last year. Washington's power play at 29%.
And the Hawks near the top when it comes to penalty killing. It's a clash of the titans of specialty teams.
Ovechkin steps in. Green pumps it off the blocker of Corey Crawford. His 13th save on the night. Chimera back behind the goal. Hjalmarsson will send Washington packing. Green, Ovechkin, Burakovsky, Chimera, and Ward, 5 out there right now. Washington trails by 2 on enemy ice. Ovechkin has 6 tallies this year, half of them on the power play. Green to the middle. Ovechkin one-timer, blocked by Hjalmarsson. Green takes the pass from Ovechkin. He'll try the other flank. Burakovsky lets it go. Missed it on the short side. That looked eerily similar to the way he scored against New Jersey earlier in the year at Verizon. Mike Green will wander out of his own zone. Burakovsky has the puck. The head man for Brouwer. Keith is there on for Hjalmarsson and right on out. Joel Quenneville said this morning, if you take one thing away from the Caps power play, you're opening up something else. Extremely dangerous for the guys in white.
Oh, penalty there at the blue line, Toby.
I see Duncan Keith down on the deck.
Yeah, going to be an interference call against the Caps or a trip. And the Caps power play will go for naught. Still at about 53 seconds left. So the Caps get called for the interference on trip at the blue line. Troy Brouwer, the former Hawk, will have a seat in the sin bin. Here it is, coming over the blue line. Watch Brouwer come across and pick Duncan Keith. Just gets his stick between his legs and on his skate. He trips him down. He knew right away. You can tell by his reaction.
So we'll see some 4-on-4 for 53 seconds remaining in the minor to Marian Hossa. And then an abbreviated Blackhawk power play. Brent Seabrook through the seam. The one-timer whistled wide by Versteeg. Versteeg and Saad up front. Niskanen is there for Washington. John Carlson to support, and away comes Backstrom through center. Nicholas Backstrom on the feed. Johansson at the line. This is offside against Washington.
One extra move there through the offside defenseman offsides.
Marcus Johansson seems to have found a hockey stick that he likes.
Yeah, he tried a lot last year to try to get comfortable, and now he told us this morning his shoot-first mentality has paid off. He said he sometimes still thinks in the back of his mind, should I pass or should I shoot? But it's coming more comfortable and automatic when he gets the puck to throw it at the net. He said throughout his career, even up to 16, 17 years of age, Dobie, that he was pretty even when it came to goals and assists. When he came to the NHL, he was always thinking pass. Now he's reverting and delivering what coach wants.
Versteeg hits the seam and Holtby makes the good save. Shovels this one off to John Carlson. The 4-on-4 play will end in 5 seconds. Backstrom and the Caps soon to be shorthanded. Nicholas takes it for a ride. Leaves the puck along the wall. Brandon Saad is there with Seabrook. Chicago has the power play. These power play stats are packaged by the UPS store. It's the third advantage for the guys in red. They have a power play goal from Duncan Keith in this period.
And it's not a surprise because they get a lot of opportunities. When you look at the stat sheets, you know, them along with Anaheim and Colorado, right up there in opportunities. The Caps at the other end of the spectrum, minutes-wise, near the bottom of the NHL.
Brad Richards feeds it on top for Duncan Keith. Patrick Kane off the head fake away from Brooks Laich. Back in business for Washington. Good to see him out there. Keith with the drive that was blocked. And Jay Beagle will spin it on down. Brouwer, number 20, has 20 seconds left in his minor. We've crossed the midway mark of regulation with Chicago in front by 2. Keith carefully out of his own zone. Kane gets the attacking line. Patrick Kane to the interior, playing catch with the captain. Keith leaves it. Richards fires on the rotation. That hits Shaw, who is setting the screen. And Joel Ward will clear just as Troy Brouwer leaves the penalty box. 5-on-5 with Chicago out shooting Washington 22-13. Kruger on the delay. Versteeg gets into the rush. Wow, that was pretty. Versteeg goes to the cage, and he was poke checked by Holtby.
That looks like a young Versteeg there with a couple of 20 goals in his ledger. He's got light feet here, and that's why he's been a big asset to Joel Quenneville.
Centering pass steered away by Oduya. Kruger will counterattack with Versteeg through center. Marcus Kruger, a Swede, 16 in the red, who centers for Bickle at the doorstep. Thank goodness the Caps were there defensively.
I think he looked surprised because he was so wide open, and by the time he lifted his head, the puck has rolled off the end of his stick. Could have easily have been 3-0.
Two teams are 5-on-5. Green ushers it down the dasher. No room for Wilson. Burakovsky, though, has some skating legs. To the late guy, Schmidt. Fires! Glove save, Corey Crawford. Seven minutes and 30 seconds to go in period 2. Washington needs 2 to tie. Nate Schmidt wanted one. From the goalie's point of view, that glove is pretty good. Brouwer almost 6 years ago to the day.
Watch number 22 in front, going to the paint against Peter Pruda in Colorado. Wrist shot, the right bounce off his body. You'll take your first in the NHL any way you can get it. Our window of opportunity focuses on Troy Brouwer.
Nowadays, Troy has goals in 3 of his last 4 with Washington. A 9th-year pro who hails from Vancouver. See Brouwer's numbers at the bottom of the screen with the Blackhawks. Chicago tonight On top of visiting Washington by 2 with 7.5 to go in the second, as Taves digs in against Backstrom. Patrick Kane rolls to center. Ovechkin was waiting. Orpik using the boards, and Wilson will dump it on down.
And another win of the draw by Taves. One thing about Taves, he cheats a lot, especially on home ice, and he's very quick, and that's why he takes about 40% of the draws for Joel Quenneville.
He's won 58.6 as Holtby makes the stop on Smith, and he'll cover up.
Yeah, sharp angle shot. They've really focused on that since the drop of the puck against Holtby and the Caps. Smith comes in and just rips it far side, Joe. Goes right off the far pad, and they've got traffic in front of the net. Ben Smith out of Boston College, as you remember, as you mentioned in the first 4 years there, sophomore year, 25 goals and 50 points for Jerry York.
Last year, 14 goals, 26 points, his NHL career best. Ben Smith, a former NCAA championship tourney MVP with the Eagles, who've done a lot of winning in Chestnut Hill, Mass. 6:50 with which to work in the second period. Washington trying to break through against the Blackhawks and Corey Crawford. A miserly goals against average for Chicago. Richards' pass intended for Morin never arrived. This one is back for a run blast. Leaving it below the goal line. Ward there. Trevor Van Riemsdyk close by. All-American at UNH. That's the University of New Hampshire.
Man, very similar style are the Chicago Blackhawks defense using in this hockey game. They're really driving and pinching, and that was Van Riemsdyk all the way down to the corner, causing real problems, and the Capitals getting out of the zone.
Just a second ago, you saw all the hits for Washington in this game. It hasn't translated yet. Stay up to date on your favorite team. Download the new CSN Washington app today. It features breaking news, instant analysis, scores, and now video. Get everything Capitals, Redskins, Wizards, DC United, and more right now on the new CSN Washington app. Marcus Kruger introducing himself to Michael Latta. Shots on goal favoring Chicago.
As our scoring chances go 10 better than the Caps through the second period here.
Good job by Michael Latta to win that draw from Kruger. Latta is #1 amongst NHL rookies when it comes to face-off effectiveness. Braden Holtby wanted an icing call there. The linesman did not cooperate. Liam O'Brien, bad pass. Versteeg was in his lane. Rundblad drops it on for Van Riemsdyk. Versteeg will drive it back on the lip of the board. Caps have possession. Beagle sending it into the corner for O'Brien. Liam O'Brien throws a counter hit on Rundblad. This puck caroms to the slot. Duncan Keith on patrol. Versteeg 4 abreast at the attacking line. Shaw, tight quarters there. Green canceled it out. 5-on-5 play. 5.5 to go in the second. Latta turns back. Finds an open Green. He didn't get it out on the first try.
Yeah, that line needs a line change. They've been out close to a minute. That's why they're hustling off and signaling, hey guys, next guy's up. We're dead tired.
Schmidt keeping an eye on Shaw. Hossa goes round and round out of the corner. That pass was picked by Johansson. Burakovsky goes 2-on-1. Brouwer closing. Burakovsky fires and scores! Andre Burakovsky.
What a dazzling play all around. #1 beating the Hawks in the neutral zone, and that release and finish, something special for the Caps youngster. Right over the catching glove, and the Caps are in it. He's got his 3rd goal of the season. Great speed, great poke of the puck against Quenneville's team. Doesn't know what just hit him there. Look at his defensive posture. They try to move it. They get a good bounce. Notice Seabrook pinching in there. A bad pinch allows the Caps on a 2-on-1. He looks at Brouwer and then rips it and says, you know what, I'm just going to put it up and over his catching glove. What a dart by the Caps youngster.
Andre Burakovsky among the top 4 rookies in the league in points. Has his 3rd tally on the season, the first 2 against Montreal and New Jersey. And Washington has cut Chicago's lead in half. Alex Ovechkin on the delay, sends it out wide for Wilson. Stride for stride with him was Johnny Oduya. Carlson joins the play. His pass intercepted by Smith. Hjalmarsson around. Orpik is waiting. Below the goal line, there's Backstrom turning. Play it on top to Karlsson. Switch it up to Orpik. Point to point. Karlsson to the high slot for Backstrom. Answered there by Jonathan Toews. 3-on-3 the other way. Marcus Johansson gets the primary assist on the Burakovsky goal. Ovechkin has some momentum through center. This is a 3-on-2 developing. Backstrom feeds. Wilson to the front. Answered by Rundblad. Counterattacking 2-on-1 the other way. Kane with Richards. Richards to the front. It gets away from Van Riemsdyk. Jailbreak time. Ovechkin 2-on-2. Alex Ovechkin long wrister. Steered away by Corey Crawford as both teams are breathing hard and needing line changes.
And both teams picking it up. A lot of flow to this game. Caps just about got caught there. Good recovery by the Washington Capitals overall.
Morin fires. That's stopped by Holtby. Rebound. Pad save. Loose to the corner. Johansson grappling with Morin. Regan stepping away from the fray. Regan feeds it on top. Rundblad keeps it alive down low. Morin and Richards in hot pursuit. Morin from upstate New York didn't make a good deke there. Burakovsky's on the go the other direction. Andre Burakovsky snaps that pass, deflected away from Johansson. To the front, tip in, try Brouwer. Just went wide. 3 minutes separating us from Lattice's Intermission Live. Just past the top of the hour. It's the NHL on Comcast Sportsnet. Joe and Craig with you from United Center in Chicago. Icing against the Blackhawks.
The play has really picked up. The boys really using some flow in this game to turn it around. Good opportunity for Chicago there. One, twice, and you could see Braden trying to put his catching glove on it. Twice couldn't cover it up. Led to a good scoring chance right in front of his pads.
Ward controls the draw for Washington. Schmidt towards the cage. A stick save for Crawford. Even in full strength late in the second period as you watch Ward operate behind the net. Joel Ward protecting the biscuit. Like sends it on top for Green. Schmidt brushed it cross rink. Green's a long way from the cage. Barry Trotz says of Like and Ward and Chimera, their strength is the puck possession game. You're seeing it now. To the doorstep. Ward was there, didn't get it through. Chimera digging. Green closing ranks. That one bouncing over Chimera's blade. Brooks Like one-handed. Ward anticipating that play. Hawks get it back. Morin didn't get it out. Delayed offside. That did come back to center, so the delayed offside is whistled against Washington. Gives us a chance to step out to commercial break. Chicago has the lead over Washington 2-1. Andre Burakovsky, upper bunk, top shelf on Comcast Sportsnet. On a night when Barry Trotz has scratched Yevgeny Kuznetsov, Andre Burakovsky has taken charge. It's 2-1 Chicago. Earlier this evening, folks, we asked you this McDonald's trivia question. Name the 5 teams that Scotty Bowman served as head coach.
And Joby, I'm going to try to do it chronologically. Tell me if I'm correct. St. Louis, Buffalo, Montreal, Detroit, Pittsburgh.
I think you got it.
You think so? I thought I
think you got Pittsburgh and Detroit flipped. Didn't you?
Yeah. Could be right there.
Pittsburgh, I remember, was early 90s. But those are the 5, indeed. Buffalo seems to be the toughest one to remember. It was for me, at least. I never got it.
I remembered losing there all the time, so I didn't forget that one.
Ovechkin drops it. Good back check by Toews. Through center, Smith. Ben Smith overlapping with Toews. Toews took his eyes off the stick handle, which most great players can do. That one rolled on him late in the period with 1:28 to go. The ice is choppy.
And the players were saying this morning, very soft here at United Centers, even after both teams skated here in the AM.
So this is the start of a 3-game homestand for Chicago. They have San Jose Sunday, Tampa Bay visits Tuesday, and then it's 7 of the next 8 on the road for this team.
And then they get fortunate because they end up playing 8 straight at home between the end of January and early February.
Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. Johansson with the entry. Washington will entertain Carolina tomorrow. Centering pass to the front there, blocked away. Closing, Niskanen, fans on it. Turn, score! The Caps have tied it. Marcus Johansson gets a friendly bounce.
Caps really tilting the ice here in this second period. They've been so diligent on their forecheck, and the Hawks have been reeling in their own zone. Crawford very frustrated after this goal. Burakovsky should have scored in the first shot right here. Didn't get through it, hit the defender, bounces out. The sneaking in Niskanen, and then the spinorama shot by Marcus. Hits the right pad and scoops right underneath the goaltender. Watch him spin, shot. Might have even hit the defenseman Seabrook to get past the goaltender. Great late goal by Marcus, 2 apiece.
19:13 the time of the tally. Caps with the 2 goals, 4 minutes and 10 seconds apart. The 2 Swedes striking, and we are brand new inside of United Center and approaching Lattice's intermission live.
Well, maybe the hard skate that Trotz put him through the last couple of days has paid off. Sometimes it takes you a period to get those legs. The hard skate in the plan a couple of days ago, sometimes it kicks in. I always found that when I played, so let's hope for good things the rest of the way.
5 seconds to play. Long drive, score! Niskanen sent it on the way. Like was ecstatic in front. The Caps have 3 in a row and a 3-2 lead.
What a blast. Niskanen just let her fly. 3 goals in about 5 minutes. Here comes the slap shot. And there it is over the catching glove. You had Ward setting a screen. You have Like setting the screen. And it is a blast. Notice Ward in front. And that puck gets right past the catching glove, which is more sort of in a scouting report when you play against Crawford, is trying to pick a spot over his glove. That puck definitely ramped up on the way to the net. We'll see who they give credit to the 3rd Capitals goal.
2 goals, 42 seconds apart. 3 goals, 4 minutes, 52 seconds apart. Washington, a 3-2 lead, and that can be a backbreaker with that last strike at 19:55. Burakovsky, Johansson, and we presume Niskanen for the moment. If it stands, it'll be his first as a Cap. It definitely was deflected en route.
Now,
a stunned Corey Crawford exiting the scene.
Well, we would think so. Good point there, Joby, because Brooks Light quickly got the puck for Niskanen after that puck went in.
Here we go with Lattice's intermission live. When we are back, we'll have a look at Alex Ovechkin, the new point-scoring champ in Washington. Highlights and stats from this one. And Craig Laughlin at the telestrator. All of a sudden, the Washington Capitals have reversed things. The guys in red had the first 2 goals, including a strike from Duncan Keith. 3 straight puts the Caps in front. Lattice's intermission live to come with a focus on Alex Ovechkin. Tonight we are inside of United Center in Chicago. Joel Ward has helped give Washington the advantage. It was his tip-in with 5 seconds left in the second that made it a 3-2 game. It's the 40th anniversary season for the Caps in the NHL. Let's look back on Mike Ridley's involvement.
I was fortunate to have a chance to play with Mike Ridley. The catchphrase in this day and age is now hockey IQ. Well, this sort of is what Mike Ridley was all about. He played both sides of the puck. Joe B could score, ran with Kelly Miller all the time. They were great on the penalty kill, but a real offensive threat up the middle for so many years with the Caps.
Mike Ridley's playing days with Washington ended right as I was arriving in town, so I didn't have much interaction with him. You've helped to tell us what he's like, and so do these numbers.
Yeah, 8 seasons with the Caps. Big trade, obviously, with the New York Rangers. 547 points in 588 games. That tells you the story. 17 shorties, second in Caps history. Played 84 games in 92-93, which tied the franchise record.
Here in the present on a Friday night in the Windy City. Bottom of the hour, the NHL on Comcast Sportsnet. Joe and Craig shouting out thanks to all the men and women in our technical crew for all their efforts throughout the day. Washington's lone visit to Chicago this season. The 2 teams will see each other again New Year's Day at Nats Park in the Winter Classic, as we have an icing just 8 seconds into the 3rd. Just tuning in with us, Chicago had the 2-0 advantage. Saad in the first, Keith in the second, but Washington roaring in the last 5 minutes of period 2. Burakovsky, Johansson, and Ward to take the lead.
Carolina, another win on
Really?
Hawaii 3-2 in OT over Columbus.
Poor Blue Jackets, still banged up. So many guys in sick bay on the injured list. Washington will see them at Verizon Center in the week ahead. Carolina tomorrow. And you pointed out to me earlier in the day an 8 p.m. start at Verizon.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you folks there. If not there, on the air once again on CSN Plus. Check your local listings. 5-on-5 here, early third period. Blackhawks in the home red. Ben Smith will work back through center with Hjalmarsson. His pass was cut off by Ovechkin. John Carlson for the Capitals in no hurry. Ushers one down the flank for Troy Brouwer. He'll golf it to Corey Crawford. Hawks through center. Shaw on the run. Andrew Shaw leaves it to the corner. Brandon Saad waits. Finds Hossa. Those two clicked for the first Chicago goal tonight at this end of the rink. Brouwer scoops it. Hossa was in the way. Point position. Duncan Keith fires. Jabbed at by Holtby. These Blackhawks playing without Patrick Sharp, who they're going to be missing for the next few weeks.
Yeah, at least 3 to 4 weeks, they're saying, coming out of the locker room in Chicago. Hurt that leg in the win against Montreal, 5-0 the other night.
Jack Hillen, Yevgeny Kuznetsov, Eric Fair, the healthy scratches for the Caps, who are still without Volpatti, Erskine, and Orlov on their injured list. Bickle to the goal mouth, all the way back to point position, not there in time. Trevor Van Riemsdyk was a step late, offside.
And there should have been a penalty in the first place, and Niskanen is yelling at the referee. I agree with him. He was corkscrewed behind the net by their big fella, and it should have been a minor penalty. That was Bickle who corkscrewed him, and there should have been a penalty on the play anyways.
Bickle remains out there. We've addressed Troy Brouwer working his way through the Chicago Blackhawk organization. He and Bickle, when they were in the American Hockey League together, were known as the Killer Bees.
And notice another Cap involved with Chicago. Remember Teddy Dent, who was a video guy, is now the head coach of their American Hockey League affiliate.
And that Rockford team is flying. They've won their last 7 in a row. Big netminder Scott Darling was working in Chicago for a time, has ripped off 5 straight wins in the American League.
And we were talking about Michael Layton last night. He found his way there. He signed a 1-year deal. Has some support here up at this level just in case there's injuries. He's also part of that staff down there at goaltender.
Caps have the advantage by 1. They'll entertain the Canes tomorrow. We've got you covered on CSN Plus.
Always a tough game against Carolina and their Canes with Stahl, Taluski, guys like that. Falk, the young defenseman, and their goaltending seems to have come around along with their offense. They're a hard-working team. Should be a great battle tomorrow. Remember, 8 p.m. sharp.
Richards to draw with Latta. Latta controls for Washington. Centering pass off the boot of Wilson and then slapped away by Niskanen. Seabrook fires. That didn't get through the pack. Carl Alsner in possession for the Capitals. Liam O'Brien dumps it in. O'Brien, who scrapped with Derek Englund of the Calgary Flames, was telling us this morning, I've taken some boxing lessons.
And he's really said what he really improved on is his balance. He thought in junior he was off balance way too much. He's improved his flexibility, and because of that, he's better when it comes to fighting. He's got better balance.
Down the flank comes O'Brien. Met there by Regan. Lost it to Latta to the slot intended for Wilson. Point position. Carlson fires. That's deflected in front.
And notice some of the line changes on that first shift out there was Backstrom, Ovechkin, and Beagle. And on this line, they moved Wilson down with this line. So maybe trying to get balance and a defensive thrust from each line, having Beagle on that top line for a shift to start this period.
Capitals mired in a 5-game losing streak. They've dumped 6 of their last 7 overall, trying to end that in Chicago. Hjalmarsson chips it loose. On the lip of the boards, there is Beagle with Backstrom and Ovechkin, and the whistle comes. Referees tonight, Lecuyer and Peel.
And it's just shifting 1 or 2 guys throughout the lineup that can sort of jumpstart you. It gives you a little more life, and maybe because of defensive responsibilities and also the face-offs when it comes to Backstrom and Beagle being on the same line.
Backstrom set on the draw. Kane comes away. Oduya on the advance with John Carlson interrupting. This will come all the way down, should be icing against the Blackhawks.
Good defense by the Caps between the two blue lines. That's forcing the Blackhawks to try to stretch past the puck up the ice, and that works into the favor of the defense and the guys in white who carry that one-goal lead.
G presents our shots on goal. Washington looking for its first in this final frame. Chicago, the most shots on net in the league, and by average 37.9 per contest, as Taves once again meets Backstrom at the dot. Ovechkin pulls the trigger. Glove save Crawford.
Unlucky for OV there. I mean, he sort of whipped on the original back pass by Backstrom, who won it cleanly. And then he had to take one little step and then rifle it again. Here it is. Sort of bounces, then he whiffs, and then he fires it again. And that's a good glove save there. Yeah, a lot of mustard on that one for OV.
Craig, when you can explain the whippiness, if that's a word, of Alex Ovechkin's stick.
Well, it gives you torque. You know, you've got different flexibilities, probably from about 120 down to about 75 in the National Hockey League. The lower the number, the bigger the whip, and it just gives you more torque because of the strength of your arms. You're able to snap that puck. You get whip out of your stick because of the lack of, you know, if it's stiff, you don't get the whip. As it's looser, you get more whip, and that's, you can see on that shot.
Alex is so powerful. Sometimes I think that stick fails him as he fans from time to time, or the puck rolls off of his blade from time to time.
And it's only been over the last 10 years that you actually have that opportunity, you know, and I played using wooden sticks. There's really no type of sticks that they have now back then, and the wood sticks, they were just like a piece of lumber. Not a lot to give on any stick you would use.
No need for Alex to worry. No need for him to change a thing.
No.
He's doing just fine with that current equipment. Burakovsky, a beautiful goal in the second period. Brouwer will dump it in, and down to the deck, round and round goes Brandon Saad. Didn't appear comfortable for him. Marian Hossa, Slovakian Olympian, 4 different times. Loose to the doorstep. Chimera will stride back and hook away from pressure. Nearing the 6-minute mark of the third period, the Caps with 3 unanswered goals and a 3-2 lead. All that damage in the last 6 minutes of period 2. Crawford leaves to Seabrook. A poor pass there. Brooks Laich back in business for Washington. Laich to the front looking for Ward. Bickle has it bounce away. Versteeg on the hop. Crisscrossing into the zone. Chris Versteeg to the goal mouth, clicking off of Niskanen, who has a couple of assists tonight. Versteeg on a backhand that didn't get through, and then the net is off of its moorings behind Holtby. 6:01 into our third period. We'll get things adjusted. We'll get you back on Comcast Sportsnet in just a few moments from Chicago. Tonight's game summary brought to you by Night Point Systems. They offer the technology you need when you need it. Duncan Keith scoring for the first time ever against Washington.
And on the Caps side, the young Andre Burakovsky. He's got a goal, and it's a whistling wrist shot, his third. And he's got a helper to go along with that. Matt Niskanen working the blue line. A couple of helpers here in Chi-Town. He's got 5 this season. That was the go-ahead goal at the end of the second, started by Niskanen's blast.
Duncan Keith, we mentioned his first ever against Washington. Locker, do you realize every defender on the Caps, all 6 of them, 0 collective goals in their careers against Chicago?
Did not realize
6.
that.
Thought Niskanen might have changed that. Joel Ward was credited with a tip-in at the end of the second period. Marian Hossa breezing back through center. Orpik was there for him. John Carlson around. Orpik shovels it ahead. Oduya will play at center.
Orpik's had a real good game, sort of quietly getting it done. Through 40 minutes, he had played about 17 minutes near the top of every defenseman on the Caps.
Quick turnaround for the Capitals. They have Carolina tomorrow as Kane skips in. The Blackhawks will get a day off before hosting San Jose on Sunday. Burakovsky throws it to the corner. There's Taves on the steal. Feed, Rundblad blocked by Johansson. Good sacrifice there. He was hopping a little bit. That one caught him in the foot. As Johansson accelerates back through neutral zone. Brooks Orpik, likewise, canceled out by Taves. Smith was trying to pitchfork it free, and Van Riemsdyk has it for Chicago. Ben Smith back to Trevor Van Riemsdyk. Yes, he is related to James Van Riemsdyk, the former Flyer, now in Toronto.
Yeah, and they played for the first time against one another the other night when they visited Toronto. Their parents in the house had a chance to play for the first time at any level versus each other.
Loose in front there, like at the doorstep, and Crawford finds it in the blue paint. Craig, on the Toyota League leaderboard, Joel Ward has shown us admirable accuracy.
Over 30% when you come to shooting percentage. That's tops among all marksmen in the NHL. We'll see Toulouse tomorrow. He's hot. Kunitz, Tanner Pearson, Henrik Sedin. He also led the Caps last year with 18%. Anything 15 and above is darn good around the National Hockey League, and Joel Ward doubling that.
Joel Ward, who leads the Caps in goals this season and goals on the road. For the moment, his tip in late second period, and I mean late, with 5 seconds to go, has Washington in front. Brent Seabrook on the stretch for Regan. Regan into the lineup with Patrick Sharp out. This one bouncing towards the front, swatted away by Carl Alsner. Regan lurking below the goal line, flushed out by Niskanen and Alsner. The pass for Duncan Keith will send the Norris Trophy winner back to center. Skips it ahead to a turning Brad Richards. Richards, all those successful days in the sun in Tampa Bay. Joel Quenneville said when he arrived here, Richards knew his role would be less than that of what it was last year in New York with the Rangers. O'Brien able to get it out.
And he arrived here because he was bought out by the New York Rangers. He had 5 or 6 years left on his deal that he signed with the Big Apple Rangers. And so he signed a one-year deal here in Chicago for about $2 million.
Chicago, the fourth different team with which Richards has worked. Prince Edward Island native in Canada. Duncan Keith, who hails from Winnipeg, rolls on for Rundblad, and then this is Versteeg. Fidgets through center, good double team. Wilson and Backstrom are waiting.
He's been probably their best forward consistently in this hockey game. Every time Versteeg's on the ice, Joe, he's had the puck.
Oduya creeping in. I remember earlier this season, Brooks Laich said the Caps, with their pinching defensemen all the time, were taking a page from Chicago. They look like mirror images, these two teams, with the way the D come crashing down the wall.
Exactly, and they're going to be more active now, trailing by 1 for Coach Quenneville.
Mike Green there for Washington. On the outlet, didn't get through. Kruger bouncing one wide of the cage, delayed offside against Chicago as Joel Quenneville wants a line change. It's an uncontested clear for Washington.
And in the past, Mike Green would have just thrown that puck up the wall. Instead, he holds on and makes a nice center pass.
Backstrom feeds, Ovechkin fires. That was blocked and hit traffic in front.
Looked like it hit his own man. Coming up in the play, I think that was Greeny that caught it off his foot.
It was. Hossa, so quick from the dead stop. Marian Hossa, head up, looking to create. Turns it on. Saad, poke checked by Burakovsky, and Ovechkin does not get it out. Hawks with a threat. Keith, midpoint Shaw. That was blocked by Ovechkin. Good hustle there by the Capital captain. Still not out. Beagle will bat it to center. Keith out wide to Hossa. Hossa's wrister right to the glove of Braden Holtby. He'll hold on, we'll hang out, and get you back to United Center in a few moments.
We're getting excited about it, for sure. You know, tonight we'll probably be wearing the toques and warm up, and just to kind of have some fun with it, and you know, going forward, it's always a fun event, a special event, trying to bring new fans in, new crowds of people that you know, want to get hooked on hockey, and it's a great spectacle for the league, and it's a lot of fun for us. You know, on a day where you know, you can bring family in and friends in, and you know, have a good time with the game. But you know, it's still a hockey game. It's still worth 2 points, and it's, you know, it's fun, but it's important.
Troy Brouwer with our Legal Seafoods Bite of the Night, referencing the upcoming Winter Classic at Nationals Park in 55 days' time. By the way, those toques that we were modeling earlier tonight,
Yes.
hugely popular, I'm guessing, on Facebook and Twitter.
They're trending.
Oh, trending.
Yes.
Everybody wants one. Locker has one filled with headlights. That was for his words, not mine.
That was a good excuse to keep it, wasn't it? You have to give yours back.
Rundblad fires. That's deflected by Taves to the glass. Do I? I haven't heard that yet. That may happen on the bus ride tonight. Wrister coming, glove save. Braden Holtby. Capitals. A whole bunch of these back-to-backs. Hadid shows us the road ahead.
Yeah, right back at it tomorrow night against the Canes, 8 o'clock. Tuesday, the Jackets. Friday, the Devils. All at home at Verizon Center. We'll have all the coverage right here on CSN. Then we hit the road for 3 at the Blues, at the Coyotes, and at Colorado before returning home. Check us out on the road trip coming up.
If you're keeping score, tomorrow is CSN Plus. At St. Louis is CSN Plus. Please do check your local listing. Hjalmarsson on the drop. Oduya on a fancy-looking play here for Saad. Down low, stopped it, and Holtby makes the save, too, on Smith's rebound. Hjalmarsson fumbled it at the line, plays it to the corner. 8.5 to go. Regulation time as the Capitals are trying to ditch this losing skid. Ovechkin didn't get it out just yet, nor did Backstrom. Washington, all of its damage in about a 6-minute span late in the second period. Fighting along the woodwork is Niskanen with Beagle there in action. Oduya extends the play for Chicago. Karl Alzner has the puck, and he has time to clear it on through. This will be icing against Washington. Holtby made a good stop on Ben Smith a few moments ago.
Yeah, he was right in front of the net. The puck was going off legs all around the net. Look at the net. Look at the guys in front. There's Smith. Shot comes, and there's the rebound. He got a good chunk of that. Real nice save on the follow-up there by Braden Holtby. As the Caps still have that 1-goal lead. 32 stops for Braden here tonight.
Trying to get that season-long save percentage over 90.
And we would expect Peters to get the nod tomorrow. We're expecting, number 1, it's back-to-back. Number 2, he played for the Canes, and there's a little extra. Maybe he's going to come out and shut them out.
See if that's the case. Justin, part of 8 seasons in the Carolina system, sitting second chair to Braden tonight. Corey Crawford backed up by Finnish-born Antti Ranta. As Seabrook swivels back into the attack, didn't get very far. Duncan Keith will hustle to make the play. It's another icing against DC. 7:36 to go in the third. And Locker, earlier you had this voice on value presented by Morgan Franklin Consulting.
And it was about early energy for the guys in white, and they withheld the thrust by the Hawks, I thought, early on. I thought they came out. Then they got down a little bit on themselves, down 2-0. Then they stormed back. Early energy and late energy. It seems to work here in Chicago.
3 goals in a 4-minute, 52-second clip late in the second period, giving the Caps the advantage. There has been no scoring to this point in the third. Taves takes a ride there with Schmidt. Green keeps the puck hot around the corner but didn't get it out. Patrick Kane to Brent Seabrook on the rotation, looking down low there for Versteeg. He had his stick lifted. Mike Green using the boards. He'll get it out.
And notice they've switched lines also as Coach Quenneville, as the Caps Trots. They put Versteeg up with the top trio with Kane and Taves.
Versteeg dangles out of the corner. Deflected away by Holtby. Kept at the line by Rundblad. And Riemsdyk pumps one wide. Versteeg to the loose rebound. Escapes the grasp of Carlson. Versteeg cuffed to the back of the head. Versteeg to the goal mouth. Played there by Brooks Laich, and he'll get it out. Chicago starting to tip the ice a bit. Crawford to the corner. Rundblad just away from Bickle. Andrew Shaw buzzing in 2-on-2. Saucers the pass to the corner for Taves. Cross it up there. Chimera gives it a little nudge. And Brooks Laich has some breathing room to get back through center. He'll clear down.
And Carlson, a real good finish on a very tired Jonathan Taves. Cleaned him out after he tried to make that pass behind the net. Real good hit by Carlson.
Offside Chicago on the play. Tick-tock, tick-tock. We're down to 6:07 to go in the third. From the promo department, Caps fans, you can join the Kids Club today. $20 is what it costs. As a member, you receive a Kids Club kit. It includes a Nicklas Backstrom bobblehead, monthly newsletters, contests, and invitations to exciting events. For more info, WashingtonCaps.com. Always noisy inside United Center. This barn seats very near 20,000 to its capacity. Sellout after sellout. This is a whistle and a stoppage in play. A face-off to come in the neutral territory when you return with us. 3-2 Caps on Comcast Sportsnet. The hard-hit highlights of the game are brought to you by Timberland Pro. A lot of body contact tonight.
And for the Caps doubling up on the Chicago Blackhawks, O'Brien, Backstrom getting involved. Brouwer finishing out his former teammate Seabrook in the corner. Burakovsky. Good cleanup by Schmidt in front of the net on their guy in front. And then a big hit, double whammy there as OV took a penalty for that hit in the second period.
Jason Chimera directing traffic. Guys are ready to get back out there on the Washington side. Capitals nearly 40 hits tonight with 5:55 to go in the third period. Duncan Keith, Brandon Saad have struck for Chicago. Caps goals from Burakovsky, Johansson, and Ward tonight. Hjalmarsson connecting with Saad through center. Hossa is next in line, jumping to the interior against Alsner. Marian Hossa, double team to the boards, triple team with Backstrom entering the fray.
And Saad was slow getting up there. He was decked in the corner. The Caps have been very physical here on the road.
Long drive Hjalmarsson, answered by Alsner. Nicholas will rewind, get Chicago organized at center, both coaches. Quenneville for Chicago, Trotz for Washington with changes on the go. 5 minutes away for the Caps from ending this 5-game losing skid. A 3-2 lead in the Windy City. Ward with the lead goal, trying to advance that lead. The drive goes wide from Chimera. Kept at point position by John Carlson. Brooks Light, fenced in by Rundblad, turns the other way. They dig for it. 5 in the scrum. Taves loosens it up for Patrick Kane. Buffalo, New York native. Kane, a former Rookie of the Year, and when he won it, Nicholas Backstrom was the runner-up. Taves feeds, looking for Smith. That was deflected. Van Riemsdyk keeps it moving. Patrick Kane shortening up on his stick. John Carlson, good work there against his Olympic teammate from the United States. Hawk fans want a call. Van Riemsdyk went down, but thankfully neither arm of Lecuyer or Peel was raised.
And it wasn't a penalty, even though the fans wanted one. They were just battling for the puck, stick on stick, and Ward won that battle with their young D.
Johansson turning on the Jets, content to clear it in. 3:55 left in the third period. No goals in this stanza. Seabrook taking his time on the breakout. Trevor Van Riemsdyk. The Van Riemsdyk family hailing from the great state of New Jersey. Bickle was upset by Schmidt. Versteeg dodging traffic. Versteeg fires, deflected away by Beagle. You're right, Chris Versteeg has been dangerous throughout.
Yeah, he's been the best player by far. He's outdoing both Taves and Hossa and Patrick Kane, who hasn't had the puck a whole lot in this game, which is a good thing.
Backstrom poke check by Rundblad. Alsner will turn. Time's a-wasting now. 3 minutes to go in this third period. Washington in front 3-2. The NHL on Comcast Sportsnet, the first of 2 meetings between these cross-conference rivals. Chicago out of the Central with a mark of 7-5-1. Washington at 4-5-3. Ovechkin on the one-timer, that was blocked. It hit Rundblad. It was going to be labeled for the corner. No insurance yet for Washington. We'll keep our eyes on Crawford. Saad with a great move right to the net, and Holtby makes the save.
And that's his game. It's all about speed. He got around Alsner nicely with a change of speed right at the blue.
Point position, Seabrook keeping it to the outside. Beagle has the puck for Washington, sending it down the channel for Backstrom on the drop pass to Ovechkin. 2:15 left. Backstrom knifing to the net. Fires! Great save there by Crawford. That keeps his team in it. Crawford's now going to look to the bench for instructions. Toews motors through center. On the drop to Versteeg. Goes to the 360 move. Light stays with him. Kane waits. Crawford's 30 feet from the goal. He hasn't left yet. Versteeg with 1:50 to go. Rundblad fires, armed away by Holtby. Rebound Seabrook from the angle. Paddle down. Braden got that one. Orpik off the glass for Joel Ward, and he'll play clear.
And great patience there by Joel, not getting too excited when he got the puck. Just relaxed, made the correct play.
Toews works in 2-on-2 with Kane. Crawford to the bench. 6 attackers on for Chicago. Versteeg, pad save Holtby. Follow-up chance loose. Holtby juggles that out of the air. 6 attackers on for Chicago. 80 seconds to go. Duncan Keith. Ahead to Versteeg. Dumps it to the corner. Orpik is there for Washington. Around the boards with 70 seconds left. 6 attackers on in red. Stealing the puck and making a break for it. For Washington, it's Nicklas Backstrom. Orpik using the boards to get it out. Final minute of regulation time. That dump-in was from behind center, so it's icing against Washington.
And Versteeg had the tying goal on his twig and couldn't finish it. The Hawks throwing everything. Here's earlier in that shift. That's that nifty move by Saad. I said he has great speed. That was a change of speed that got Alzner flat-footed. The hook-off, left side of the screen. Here comes the man Versteeg into the opportunity, and he gets a second whack at it. Great chance. Another look at the shot by Versteeg, who I've said all game long, he has been the best player by far for the Hawks here tonight.
Acquired from Florida for Jimmy Hayes. Todd Reardon is giving the defensive instructions there at the Caps bench. Washington took its timeout late in regulation. Folks, this evening's Caps player of the game is sponsored by the Palm Restaurant. We're going to go with Andre Burakovsky.
He was an animal in this game. A goal, a beautiful goal that got them going. An assist, +2 rating. Just under 15 minutes. Real strong showing by their young pivot.
Young man likes steak, I'm sure. You can enter to be the Palm Fan of the Month at thepalm.com/fan.
I thought I was going to like steak last night.
You didn't get steak last night?
No.
Nor did I.
Chicago pizza.
Yes.
It was awesome.
It was delicious. You actually wanted us to go sushi.
Yes, I did, and we ended up pizza.
With a special recommendation for Pat Sajak.
Yeah, and the family, Wendy Brown, thank you, but we couldn't get in. We needed some clout to get in. You didn't have it.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, I did have it. We backtracked, but that's for later. Corey Crawford's on the bench. 6-on-5 for Chicago. 50 seconds to play. This one rolling all the way down. Brouwer, great hustle, avoids and washes out the icing.
Yeah, I was wondering why the Hawks didn't start skating. They just stood there. Both their veterans just watched the puck instead of skating. Well done, Troy.
Duncan Keith with 33 seconds to go. Leaves it to Patrick Kane. Kane jams it off the boards. John Carlson's there first. Rockets it around the turnstile. Didn't get it out. Hossa was waiting. To the front there. Andrew Shaw swinging a miss. Duncan Keith sets it. Long drive. Stopped there by Holtby. A sizzler from Richards.
And no stick for Nick Backstrom, so that actually adds an extra guy for the Chicago Blackhawks.
12 seconds to go. It's kept by Keith. Duncan Keith cross ring to Richards. Down to 7 seconds. Brister on the way. Deflected. Holtby the pad save. Shaw to the rebound. 2 to go. Shaw buttoned up in the corner. Richards cross ring. Time expires. 3-2 Washington. And we'll see Chicago at the Winter Classic.
Handshakes all around and a jumping goaltender jumping for joy. This is the type of game that can set up your season. This is the image the Caps have to play with. Hard work, a lot of heart. What a win here tonight in the Windy City.